Yeah, like I remember, what was it called? There were a bunch of mobile game companies that were under the umbrella of Ubisoft. But I think that they might have just kind of gone under. One of them was called Longtail Studios. I actually applied for a QA job there, like right when I was out of college, and I didn't get it. But
I applied too, and I didn't get anything.
yeah.
So I was working retail for a few years.
But I guess what I'm thinking of is that, I think it's been a long time since there was like a new like AAA developer. And so I think a lot of the smaller developers sort of get, produced by a bigger company. I'm wondering I wonder why that doesn't happen more with New York-based developers, even because like there are smaller teams that do like I think Ubisoft still kind of has like their smaller studios. EA has a bunch of like studios that they produce their games. Even Square Enix now is producing games. But I wonder if maybe something like PlayCrafting, could help get more attention. It's great. I mean, do you want to talk more about that actually? Like, do you feel confident in describing what PlayCrafting?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So PlayCrafting is a organization in New York City that seeks to grow the indie community, to bring indie developers together into shared spaces to not only show and display their work, but also to facilitate cross-collaboration between the developers, to teach and educate new developers, to offer teaching opportunities for those developers to go out and teach other people, to expand the networks of all these indie developers, which is a niche that really hasn't been met that much so far. And so with something like Play NYC coming up in August, that's going to be a huge convention for all of us to kind of get together and kind of share our work with each other, but also to show people outside of this community, hey, this is what we're doing, right? Which I think is great.
Do you want to talk about Play NYC?
Sure.
Yeah.
So Play NYC is happening August 19th and 20th. It's a weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and it's going to be at
Terminal 5.
Terminal 5, yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's going to be like three, 4 floors of developers kind of showing their work, and it's going to be the typical sort of PAX feeling and vibe. We have press, we have the developers, but also anyone can kind of buy a ticket and come in and see the games. And the last expo that we had at PlayCrafting, it was huge, right? So we work out of the Microsoft building at 11 Times Square, and you can see that it's already starting to fill to capacity on one floor.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. So it's definitely growing, and PlayCrafting is a huge contributor to that.
Is there any other video game expos in New York? I know not in New York City, but
in like New York State,
yeah.
I mean, there are other expos that happen. What is it called? Is it Indiecade?
Right, I've heard of that.
And there's some that happen like in New Jersey, and there are smaller ones for different sort of things, right? Like they may have like a convention or an expo for like female developers
Right.
of color, LGBT developers, like very like cosmopolitan sort of great niche conventions, but nothing that kind of brings a whole bunch of people together from different groups. And I think Play NYC is filling that void.
Yeah, I mean, Dominic and I actually have press passes to go to that, so we're going to be doing some coverage. I'm really excited about that. I mean, I'll be happy to talk to you there. It's going to be exciting. I'm excited about it.
Me too.
And I believe that it could really blow up into something big. Especially because, like we're saying, there's nothing really here like that in New York City. except for maybe Comic-Con, it has like a
That's
small
right.
portion for video games, but
It doesn't have enough.
and it doesn't have like New York-based video game companies
Right.
there.
And that's the kind of thing that I like about Play NYC, that it's, you know, the CEO, Dan Buchko, is
Yes.
reaching out to not only big developers, but indie developers and kind of all the developers in between. So it's going to be a nice blend. Whereas when you go to something like, not PAX, Comic-Con in New York, it's just the only people that can afford Comic-Con are, you know, the big companies. And so it's just a little isolating when you go there.